So this is my FMP pitch. So when I first started thinking about what I wanted to do for my FMP, these were the first sort of thoughts that I was thinking. I did not want to do a documentary. Personally, I find documentaries horrendously boring. You're just standing there talking to someone. I don't like it. And I was like, I know if I did it, I would hate it too. So I was like, no, it's not going to happen, but I want to get information across in some sort of way. And then I found a sort of campaign type thing to save the turtles, and I thought, why not? The turtles need a voice because they can't voice for themselves. And it's the straws that are affecting them. They're hurting and killing them. And I wanted to raise awareness for this. So, like I said, I didn't want to do a documentary, so I decided animation would be the way to go. And I didn't just want to do this for myself, I also wanted to speak to a company and get them involved in it as well. So this was my first sort of storyboard of like how the story would sort of go and stuff. So he starts off on a beach, goes into the sea, and then has a look about to the beach and sees all these people having fun, having a drink, using straws. He doesn't think much of it, goes back down into the sea and everything is quite nice and happy, but then all of a sudden a straw gets dropped on him, and then another one, and then another one, and then he sort of gets tangled in a cage of straws. So I have some mood boards to represent these. So first, he's going to be like sat behind a rock, watching everyone, just happy. And then he'll move into the sea and look out to watch everyone using the straws. And this is as he becomes entangled in all the rubbish that the people have left. Once the actual animation is over, I'm going to have some sort of title card type things with campaigns and emotive posters and things, and showing people ways they can either change and the way they're using straws or alternatives there are, what companies are involved and how they can get involved with them, and what their decisions are doing that are affecting them. This was some of the pictures I saw that inspired me to do this. So the first one I saw was that one. I thought that was quite clever, personally, just because, Jaws. And then I started following an American site called Plastic Alliance, and then I started to see all of these, and I thought, it's really horrible, and people don't seem to be overly bothered. So, like, at the minute, McDonald's changed their straws, as you probably all know, to paper ones, and there's now a campaign to get the plastic straws back because people don't want the paper ones because they go mushy or whatever. So they're not really thinking about anyone else but themselves. Oh, there we go. So my first idea of doing animation was like a flipbook animation. So like, when you used to do on the corner of a book and you used to draw someone jumping up and down and you turned the pages and it would change. But I decided it wasn't big enough, it wasn't ambitious enough. There was nothing for someone to look at it and go, wow. So I moved on to another idea. And I was speaking to Paddy about After Effects and started to play about with that. I've got a little clip of what I've done. There you go. It's really basic of just a turtle moving across sand. But just doing that and learning how to do that took me about 3 days, just so that it looked right, got the shadow, the puppet pins are in the right place, nothing else was distorted. And I was thinking, I think I've just overshot with myself here. I'm not going to be able to do this within the time limit. It's too ambitious for me to do this year, maybe next year, but right now I need to get something I'm more capable of doing. So that is where I got onto, there we go, stop motion animation. And I plan on shooting at 12 frames per second. Usually television and things now is shot at 24, but I feel like it would take me too long for that to work out, so I halved it. I want it to last around about a minute, so that means me taking 720 pictures. I started to build my set on the weekend. This includes 2 boxes, and everything in there is either recyclable, biodegradable, or something that has been pre-used and upcycled, so that it's still keeping up with my whole save the planet, don't use rubbish, one-use plastic sort of thing. The top drawing is my plan for what I wanted it to look like, and it pretty much came out around about like that. Audio. I decided I don't want any dialogue. I don't think it would add anything to it particularly, apart from me talking over the animation saying what's going wrong. So I wanted more emotive music and things, and everything to be like Foley and me making the sounds. So I found a little clip of the sort of thing I wanted to create, sound wise. So pretty much just that, just the sounds you would hear at the beach, just the sea. Obviously I would have people chattering as well, because that was sort of a lonely beach. My schedule. I started last Wednesday with my research and bits and pieces, adding things to my blog. Since then I've just been doing research and planning and putting ideas together, seeing what works, what doesn't. As you can see, my pitch is today, and I will continue to do research and planning, getting myself ready for next week when I plan to start filming. I've given myself a week to film, which I think I should be able to do it in, if I do it obviously every day. But as I've given myself a week of editing and almost a week of evaluating, I can sort of run into that, if need be. So yeah. As I was saying, I wanted to get in contact with some sort of company or something to help promote what I'm talking about, and I chose Plastic Oceans UK. And so I messaged them a while ago explaining what my project was, how I wanted to do it and everything, and they replied saying that it would be great to do this, but they would need to see the film first, make sure all the facts are right and all that sort of thing, just to make sure that they're promoting something that actually agrees with their campaign, which I think is totally understandable. And I just replied saying, yeah, once it's made, I can send you a copy of it. My target audience is really, I would like everyone to see this, because everyone can make some sort of difference in some sort of way. But ideally, between 14 to 30-year-olds, as they tend to be the people that will change. Elderly people tend to go, oh, well, I'm not going to be here for much longer. I don't need to change. This does not affect my life. Whereas these people will be growing up in this world. They have to live with the consequences of the people before them. So they generally are the ones that will change. And this works quite well because I promote most of my films and behind the scenes pictures and everything on Instagram, and 60% of Instagram's users are between 18 to 24-year-olds, which hits pretty much the middle of my target audience. Oh, also, because of Plastic Alliance, I think they have 1.6 thousand people that liked the page. So that also means if we do pair up, 1.6 thousand more people will see my work, more than I would have if I just put it on Instagram and YouTube. There's also the possibility of film festivals and things and animation, like specifically for that I could also look into. The problems I could face. So with stop motion animation, if my set got knocked and everything moved like an inch across, I would have to try and move everything back so there wasn't a clear continuity issue, because everything would all of a sudden have moved, and that could cause a bit of a problem. So it says in here at home or in the studio, but I've decided I'm doing it at home. There's too many variables here and too many people will need the studio. The other possibility is that could go wrong is that it is going to take too long to shoot this, because stop motion is a long, lengthy process. So to avoid this, I'm just going to try and film as early as possible. Questions?
What software are you going to be using?
To edit? Or
And animate as well?
well, I'm thinking just the 600D, is that the right one? Just take the pictures. And I'm looking into how to edit stop motion animation, because obviously it's different to normal editing because it's like pictures. So I think I'll just use Final Cut, because I've found a clip that explains it within like 2 minutes or something how to do it. But yeah.
I think you could up the quality of the camera.
I think you should use the Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sony's really good for pictures, and I think the Sony might have something like an onion skinning feature, which will kind of help you with the problem of if your set gets knocked.
Yeah.
Onion skinning basically shows you like a shadow of what the last photo you took was,
Oh, fab.
so you can kind of move it all back together.
Oh, okay, cool. It was
Yeah.
just, I only said 600D because that's the one we predominantly use as first years.
The other thing I was going to mention is Dragon Frame is an animation software, and it does exactly the same thing, onion skinning. If you've got a computer or a laptop at home, it projects a live view of what you've got on your camera and then your previous image as well.
And that's like an industry standard software to use.
How
as
much
well.
does
The
it
only
cost?
thing is, it's 250 quid one-time buy, but it's available if you know how to not pay for things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is filming.
I think there used to be a light version of it, but there probably isn't anymore, is
It's
there?
not, no.
Well,
I also think that you need to.
it's not the biggest hindrance to you.
Test for lighting as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And consider do some research on what lights
Mhm.
are the best lights to use. Ask Penny, or do some tests.
Because my plan is I was going to take some equipment out tonight so
Mhm.
that over the weekend I can start like playing about with shots and things so I
Yeah.
can work out what looks best, whether you can see, because I plan to suspend my turtle, so that and it'll be done with like a matchstick in the middle of his shell. The shell will be varnished so it's hardened, and it'll be hung from fishing wire. So he'll wobble and things. But yeah. So,
You might have to be
Okay,
careful with that for stop motion, if it moving around on the
yeah, I
wire.
know, but I've worked out a way of keeping it still.
Look
But
at
yeah.
the Pairs YouTube channel, because they've got behind-the-scenes stuff on things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I know you did touch on music, but I can't remember what type of music you wanted, like
Well,
to set the atmosphere.
so obviously, whilst the turtle's happy and things, so like he's on the beach or he's going in the sea, it'll generally just be quite light. All the music will be quite quiet. It won't be like massively in your face. It'll just be give you like a taste of what the mood is. But then it'll slowly get darker and darker as he starts to get trapped in all these straws and get hurt and things. But I haven't decided on what music yet. I need to find it or get someone to write it.
I think you should try and link it to maybe to other organisations. You've got some really good ideas about distribution and presentation and linking it to campaigns and things. But even if you kind of got local organisations like the local Green Party or to promote it as well, just to see if they could share it.
Yeah, just get more
a-
companies and things.
Yeah, I think even if you start, you can hit global, and you've definitely
Yeah.
considered that. But I think even keeping it local is a good thing as well, and it's something that we need to address as a county, as a city, and as a county, because there's a lot of rubbish. We need to address it in the college as well, is like being more sustainable and environmental. So even if you kind of will promote it in the college, I love this. I love it a lot. I just think it's an important current issue, and it's now or never. And things are changing fast at the moment. I've just had a microwave meal for my lunch. It's like a vegetarian one, and I went to wash out the packaging because I take the packaging home with me so I can recycle it. And I noticed for the first time that the microwave meal thing that came in was cardboard, and that's new. It's usually plastic. So the big companies, that was Bird's Eye, and everyone's started to think about plastic.
Because with microwave meals, it generally is. I think there's something with the council or whatever, whoever sorts the recycling, if there's some sort of grease on whatever plastic you've used, apparently you're not allowed to recycle it, not allowed to put it in your bin, which is the most ridiculous thing. So all you have to do is soak it in like soap water and all of a sudden the grease is off.
I do that. I wash everything
Yeah.
out before I even.
But
fix
yeah,
it.
they won't let you. So if
Yeah.
you put it in there, the whole bag is then contaminated and,
And
then
also
gets
those
thrown
the
into
black
wasteland.
the black packaging, the black plastic packaging that meat comes in and things like that actually isn't recyclable. So it's a massive thing. But I think you should definitely share it with the local food party. But yeah, I think this is gonna be. I think you have to be careful with just having a week for your see how you get on and
Yeah.
review that.
Because that's about 100 movements a day,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah, I don't think you can.
You might not need a week for evaluating. What can
Yeah,
you just say
I
to
just
all-
sort of put it in for a week because it sort
Yeah.
of worked quite well.
I think the other option and something that the first years need to consider is that you need to evaluate your progress right the way through. Don't think that of an evaluation as something you do at the end. There needs to be some kind of journal or diary, production diary, reflection diary. It needs to be on a separate drop-down thing on your blog, and you need to reflect all the way through. So reflect on your research, reflect on kind of how you got on with your research at the start, and kind of how that helped you develop your ideas. And then when you're planning, reflect on your planning. If anything went wrong, how you solved it. You know, if an actor dropped out or the location wasn't right, or you decided to go in a different direction, reflect on that. And then when you're doing your actual piece, reflect on that. How did it go? And then you do your final evaluation after that when you've got your feedback. So just get into the habit of doing that. I know the second years I bully them into doing that all the time, but that's where you're going to hit your distinction, because there is like a separate criteria for evaluation, and if you haven't evaluated in a comprehensive way, then you can't get a distinction.
Another thing to think about is your props.
Yeah.
You said you were using like old recycled fins.
Yeah, everything's either recyclable, biodegradable, or been upcycled.
That might be tricky because to get like the fins you want to actually make it look nice, you might actually have to go and get stuff other than just
Already
make
done
it.
it all.
Have you got
Already
it all?
all made. Yeah, everything's made. All the props are there. All the models have been made. I've used old toys from when I was little as like little dolls sitting on the beach having a drink. Yeah, all the paint used is oil free. Yeah, it's all 100% keeping up with my theme.
Did you go to a school in Brampton?
No.
Primary school?
No.
What school did you go to?
I went to Cummington School and then I went to Cardiff.
I think you should maybe try and show it at your old school.
Yeah,
Schools
100%.
as well. I think that would be a good idea. I think kids would really benefit.
I don't have anything to add. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Superb, very thorough. Not more. Don't need to say anything more.
You've already done loads of planning, so that's really good.
The other thing I might have said was, I know you've done your storyboard already, which is good. It might be worth doing a shot list
Yeah, I need to do shot lists and everything.
and add times to it. Like that's going to be a second on the screen, and that's going to be 2.5 seconds, and then you
Yeah.
can work out how many frames, then you can work out exactly how long it's going to take you.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Everyone done? Thank you very much.